This is the Jay Harris PT podcast. It's another episode. This time I've got my sister on, and not only is she my sister, but she's also a client and has been a client for a while now. We're just going to speak about how Rachel got into fitness, why she's maintained the sessions, a little bit of a background, and obviously just fitness related topics throughout the podcast. But I always let the guests introduce themselves. So Rachel, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name's Rachel. As James said, we're brother and sister, but I've been a client of James's for about 4 to 5 years. My job is a marketing officer for National Museums Liverpool. So obviously that can sometimes be a really hands-on job if we've got like any events, but sometimes it can be office-based as well. So yeah, we'll probably be talking more about that obviously in the podcast later on.
Yeah, so like even the job before the National Museum, she was in the Met Quarter in town, and obviously that was office space. So what type of I've had a few clients who obviously work in offices, and one of the things that they always say is how it's hard to control your food because there's people bringing cakes in, or there's chocolate around, or you get presents off clients and anything. Just it's just hard to maintain a decent diet and not snack. So that's going to be a side that I want to touch on. What's the let's say the negatives of working in an office if you're wanting to keep fit?
Probably what you said is probably food more than anything, because I'm always a big tea and coffee drinker, so I do always find that I have tea at home and then coffee in work, but I always have the sugar with that, which isn't great. But there's always like water machines, so if it's like really stuffy in the office and you want a cold drink, you can always get water, so that's always good. So drink wise it's fine, but it is the food all the time. This job I only started 2 weeks before lockdown, and thankfully there was no birthdays and there was no sort of temptation with anyone bringing sweets in. But a Met Quarter, which I worked at for 3.5 years, it was really bad, and especially over like the last 18 months that I was there, there was always Jaffa cakes or hot cross buns or croissants, which at the time was quite a nice little treat to have. But yeah, it was always kind of really hard, like November and December, especially working in retail. So if people did bring in, big trays of biscuits or tins of Quality Street, and you did dip into those, you didn't feel as bad because you were constantly on your feet all the time, so you were always burning it off. But most of the time, if you were just sat in the office and you were sat there for about 6 hours a day and snacking on top of that, it wasn't good.
We'll go back to the start then. So, what was the reason for you to start the sessions? Obviously, when you started, I'd already been a PT for 2 or 3 years, I think, something like that. And obviously you hadn't started in that time. And obviously I know you were in like sixth form and or uni at the time, I think. So obviously that kind of took priority, and it was hard fitting it in and stuff. But I want to know the reason for you starting PT.
Yeah, probably that. I mean, I think when I was at school, weirdly, now that I think back about it, even though at the time I didn't really think I was a really active child, but I was, the way of like kind of playing outside is completely different to how kids would do it now. They would be sat on, iPads or PlayStations and stuff like that, whereas our generation was always playing outside. So again, you kind of thought that was just fun and that you weren't active or doing any type of fitness at the time. Again, like, my hobbies when I was younger was always dancing, and I would be even dancing in the house, but that was just for fun. That, making up dance routines or gymnastics and doing like handstands and cartwheels in the living room. Like that to me was just fun. That wasn't something that I thought I've got to do this, to, get some fitness or, to build up some sort of active lifestyle. It really wasn't for me. That was just, being a nuisance really. But I think as well as kind of took that with me through primary school and secondary school, and obviously Chilwell that we both went to was at the time of sports college. So that was quite heavily focused on fitness, and they did have like their own gym and things like that. My first year at university was at University of Chester, and that was a trek to get up there. It was a 2-hour 2-hour journey. Even from the train station, it was a 25-minute walk to get to the campus, and then from the campus, a 10 to 15-minute walk to get to the building. So for me, even then, you know, sometimes just having that long journey probably did balance out sitting all day doing an assignment. So it probably wasn't too bad. But then for second and third year, I did transfer over to John Moores, which was only one bus journey away and a 20-minute walk. And that, I think, is when that was the point when I probably thought I feel different in myself. I felt like when I was walking up to the bus stop from John Moore's building, that I felt more tired, and I felt like I just had no energy in me at all. And it wasn't until I probably just sat down and just realised that actually all I just do now is really just sit for lectures, seminars and assignments.
Yeah.
And even on the bus, I sit down. So I think now, you know, I need to just do something even when I do take a break from uni work, because you can get bombarded, and even you know how long you sit and do work. I used to get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and still be sat there midnight trying to do an assignment. So sometimes even just using something like the gym as a reason to get out, even just for an hour, was really good for, like, you know, your physicality and your mentality as well.
And then what kind of made you maintain the sessions? Because especially someone who is family, I know it can be easy for people to go, oh yeah, I'll do them, and you'll do them once a week, or you might do it once every 2 weeks or so on. But you, over the past 4 to 5 years, we've kind of gone from doing one session a week, then obviously upping it to 2, and then we've upped it to 3 as well. And we've always kept that, you know, even in lockdown at the moment, we're still doing 3 sessions a week, whether it's being down at Everton Hills or obviously online, like doing an online PT. We've still maintained them 3 sessions. So I want to know why you've kind of maintained it over 4 to 5 years, and I want to know why you've upped the sessions. And as I said, even in lockdown, when it's easy not to do anything, you know, there's clients that I haven't trained over in lockdown because they don't want to do an online PT. But for yourself, you've kind of maintained that, and you've stayed with it for the 3 sessions. So just give us a little bit of like feedback and you know, your thought process on why you've maintained the sessions.
To start with, I would never have thought I would have done, because, as you know, I hated fitness. Like, I think that's why I enjoyed other activities where I kind of thought I'm not doing anything fitness related. Because if they're fun, or if they make me feel like I've worked hard, or I've started to see a difference without really knowing that, oh, this is like heavily focused on fitness, that for me just kind of like makes me enjoy it more. So when I thought, right, I'm going into a gym and I am going to have to work hard at this, and I thought I'm not going to enjoy this because it's something that I've just for years and years never had an interest in. So I think for me that was what started at first. It was kind of like I wouldn't say like an addiction, but you started to get like a really good feeling where it was like, all right, this actually feels good, where I'm starting to kind of focus now, and I feel like the work that I'm putting in, you know, is kind of shown in a way. And then it was when I think that we transferred over to Gym Monkeys, because I've always liked the idea of a gym having like mirrors and stuff, because it was actually from Gym Monkeys when I caught a glimpse of myself, because I think at Gym Monkeys we started doing before and after photos, and you start getting an idea about how your body's changing without you actually realising it. But it was when I started, I think I was like lifting the ball up, or like I think we were throwing something like over a bar, or I was doing something with weights. And because I do like normally wear crop tops, I could see like a small form of like definition in my abs, which I would never have thought like before. And I kind of went, oh, look at that. And I started like being like quite made up with myself. Then when I started seeing changes in like my physical like person, that to me kind of spurred me on a little bit more, where I thought, right, I can actually start improving. Because, you know, to start with, my overall ambition for what I wanted to achieve out of the gym, if I did keep it up, was not to lose weight, because I am someone who is quite naturally slim and built. So I think if I do lose weight, that doesn't really look good. I wanted to just maintain my weight, change my diet, and just tone.
Yeah.
And I think when I started seeing those results slowly but surely, that to me, that kind of went, oh yeah, good. I'm starting to kind of, you know, get to get to where I eventually do want to be. So I think that was kind of what helped me. And again, just having you as well, which is, you'd always kind of checking in and stuff, but it's not where it's kind of, oh, you're not eating that type of food, are you? What have you been doing? It's not where you hound. It's kind of, how's things been? What have you been up to? Okay, if it hasn't been a great week, come back into the gym and we'll focus on that for this week if you feel like that's what you need to start working on, for this week. So you kind of take into account exactly what my goals and targets are.
Yeah.
And know what my abilities are, because I'm not the strongest person in the world. So yeah, for me that does help, just knowing exactly how to kind of go about something, but that it's good for you.
Yeah.
And not push yourself too far where it's an unnatural progression, really.
Yeah. Well, at the start you mentioned about obviously not really being into fitness, or certainly not knowing that you was into fitness from like the young age, because it just kind of happened naturally. And it was the same with me. I mean, you seen what I was like when I was a kid. There was no way that I wanted to stay in the house. I'd be out, and I didn't want to, not that I didn't want to come home, but I prefer playing footy with my mates, or getting up to no good or whatever it was. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed being outdoors. I'm an outdoor person. And like even on the weekends, like everyone looks forward to just staying in, and I want clients because I just want to be out and I want to be outdoors and just being active, and that's just how I've always been ever since I was a kid, as you know. But when you said that one of the reasons you started doing PT was because you noticed a bit of a change in yourself because you left school. We were too old to go out and play Manhunt or Kirby or whatever it was that we used to play as kids and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like no one goes out anymore. It's very rare that you'll see kids even playing out anymore. So that was one of the reasons that you started PT, was because you noticed the difference in yourself in terms of you wasn't as active as you didn't even realise you was. Which is, I think it's a good thing, because some people get stuck in a rut so early on and do nothing about it, and it's so difficult to get out that rut. And it's the same with clients that I've got now. They'll train and train and train, but they're also stuck in a rut with the food, and sometimes the weight just won't shift off them as much motivation and as much as many texts as possible as I can send. It just sometimes doesn't work for them. But as I said, you've gone from 1 session to 2 to 2 to 3, and I like, even on our first one, and I'll go back to our first one in a minute, which I'm sure you can't wait for. But on the first session, obviously, I kind of know if people are gonna carry on or not. And I got the impression that you was gonna carry on, but I didn't think you'd carry it on for this long. But I think it's kind of just part of my routine and your routine now. Like on a Sunday, I know your days, so I'll put them in my diary. Or when you obviously do the package, I know what days and times, and your days and times are always in the diary. And obviously, if we need to change, we change or whatever. But it's kind of just routine now. I know that you're gonna do them 3, and vice versa. I'm gonna be there for them 3. I wanna know from the day you started. Did you think that? I mean, I know you said that you didn't think you'd carry on, but now, say 2-3 years after your first session, did you think you'd still be doing it 2 years after that? If that makes sense. So say we went to Gym Monkeys in 2000 and what year did I go to Gym Monkeys? 2018. Yeah, 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
So that was about 3 years after you started PTs, really. Did you think that 2 years on you'd still be doing PT sessions, or doing 3 at home, for instance, that we're doing now? Do you know what I mean?
No, not at all. Right, do you know what, actually, right? I think this is probably the best way that I can describe how much it shocked me, because I even remember as a kid, we always used to go to do you remember JJB? JJB Sports?
JJB, JJB.
And JD, and I used to hate it. I used to absolutely hate going into sports shops. That's how much I hated fitness. Even going into shops that had anything to do with it bored me. So when we went to, where was it? First one. Oh yeah, your very first gym it was actually, which was my first time. I thought, right, you know what? The one thing I need to do, which I haven't actually got, but I need to commit myself in some way, is to buy a bulk load of fitness stuff. And I still didn't go into JD. I literally just went to Primark and just got just loads of stuff because I thought, okay, right, it's, you know, really cheap. Sometimes they are like quite good actually, you know, like the leggings and crop tops and that, but I was like, even if I don't use it, I haven't spent like £50 on a pair of shoes. So for me, that was just enough to kind of say, right, look how committed I am. Like, I'm really going to go for this now.
Yeah.
And then as time's like gone on, and the more that we've been kind of adding the sessions on, I've actually gone out and spent money in proper like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour. I've got Victoria's Secret leggings on as we speak because we've got our session. And like, I never would have thought in my life that I would have spent money on designer sport kind of gear, because I just wasn't interested in fitness at all, and I just thought, to me, that's just going to be a waste of money. And I literally now live in those like Under Armour trainers now. And then it was only when I started at MetQuarter and I did start to have a bit of a routine, and that was probably when I seen more changes in me come about, because obviously I'm sat at a desk again. But this time I was driving. So the first day I started at MetQuarter, the day before, I bought my car. So even then, I very rarely got the bus into town after the first week or two, because I got my car then. So even then, the exercise that I would probably have walking through town to get busters and stuff was non-existent anymore, because I just had my car there. And that little bit of exercise was taken away from me again, and I've probably seen more changes, which to other people weren't really noticeable, but for me it was, because I could feel it in myself. And that's when I said to you, right, okay, I am going to start doing sessions. And I think that first session was better than the first session. So I kind of knew what to expect then, but yeah.
But I always say to people, like, and it's something I've always swore by, the first session with a PT is going to be the hardest one of your life. And it's not necessarily for fitness, it's not even... It's just kind of some people don't want to go to a gym, so it's hard getting there, and that, you know, it's a mental battle to get there. So that's one of the hardest parts. 2, you might have never have done any sort of fitness apart from PE in school, so doing something different, waking different muscle groups up, it's just a complete shock to the body. And then 3, it's going to be the first time that you're actually getting pushed by someone who's telling you what to do. So I'll train on my own, and I probably wouldn't train half as hard as I'd do if I had somebody else. If somebody else was there with me, whether they're a PT or whether they're just a training partner, I'll work harder with them. It's just natural. And I've always said that. I've always said the first one, you know, about 3 weeks ago, I had a client for the first time, and they were sick from it. I had another client back when I worked in Ben Dunn who'd done exactly the same. But then on the second session, almost exactly the same workout, and they're fine. You'll remember him, Sam Inkson. He was in drama, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I trained him in Ben Dunn, and I remember, I think it was an early morning session, and about 20 minutes into the session, he just went grey, and I was like, geez, like, he's proper taking the knock here. And in the studio, you could lift the windows up and it would lead to there was like a path towards like a cafe, and next minute he just stuck his head out and was just sick. And I was like, mate, are you alright? He was like, yeah. And I was like, when did you last eat? He was like, well, I had like tea and a cup of toast. I mean a cup of tea and toast, I mean. A cup of tea and toast, that's not what I meant. He had that about 20 minutes before the session. So that was literally what came out of him, and I was like, right, now you know not to eat and drink so close to the session. But I remember, to get back on track in terms of your one, I remember your first session.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I'll never forget it. So obviously for those listening, like, I've kind of described it that it's like a shock to the system. Some people, it's hard to get to the gym. Some people eat too soon before they go to the gym, and some people it's just motivating them and pushing them that takes it too hard. And obviously my mum before the session was like, James, you know, come on mate, like, try not to push it too hard, it's the first one. And then I was like, Mum, like, I know what to do, don't worry, like, should be fine. So anyway, you know, I thought you'd be fine, obviously. So anyway, we go to the gym and get in, and I remember I'd started working in this studio for about, I think it was about 6 months at this point, but I was obviously working in the school. So mornings were a write-off for me because obviously I was starting work at what, like 8 o'clock, something like that. And I remember it was the first time that I'd done a session with the person who owns the gym actually in there. So back then, obviously, like, I mean, I'm not really bothered anymore about that type of stuff now, but back then, obviously, I wanted to make a good impression. I wanted to come across as a great PT and prove that I'm capable of training my clients to anything type of thing.
And then I walk in.
And then you walked in, yeah. And I remember it was her first one that, like, she was in there, like, the owner, and I was like, right, you know, let's make a good impression. So anyway, I thought, we'll do a warm-up, and then the warm-up was quite basic. Obviously, I remember it was a hot day, and it was warm in that studio, you know, the back door was open and that, but anyway, I started getting you to do, like, the usual, like, jogging on the spot and star jumps and things like that, just to get the blood going. And literally about a minute into it, a minute and a half into your warm-up, and I'll repeat the warm-up, you just looked at me and done this whole, like, fainting act holding your head, and, like, just was like, I don't feel right here, and just, like, flopped to the floor. And I was like, Rachel, like, what are you doing? I was, like, looking around thinking, oh god, like, what an impression here. Like, I certainly made an impression. I don't know if it's a good one. And I was like, you were just, like, flopping on the floor, and you was going, is the room getting smaller? I just started, like, flopping to the floor, and I was like, no, the room's not getting smaller. And anyway, like, I managed to, like, keep you up and, like, place you down, and you just sat there with, like, a drink and that, and obviously, like, we carried on the session after about 5 or 10 minutes. But I was thinking, oh, wow, like, that's a thing. And the funniest thing about that, like, that was funny. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing. But the funniest thing about that is, obviously, we went back home, and this was obviously when I lifted home, and my mum was like, you know, what was it like? And you turned around and I was like, yeah, like, I enjoyed it, but, like, I had, like, this whole, like, I started to, like, faint. And my mum turns around and goes, James, see, I told you not to work it hard. And I just turned around and was like, Mum, it was the warm-up. I was like, I didn't even train it hard. That wasn't even the main session. Like, literally a minute and a half after stepping foot in that gym, she started going all like Gillian McKeith from I'm a Celebrity on me. I was like, and my mum was just like, oh, fair enough then. And that's one session I'll never forget. And then, but then, that's kind of what I'm saying, like, on your first one that happened, but then on your second one, and since then, it's never really happened. Obviously, gyms have been warm, and, you know, you felt a bit, like, sick and nauseous and whatever, like, whatever else, but that's just kind of part of it, you know, part of the thing. But there's never been anything like that where it's just been a complete shock to your body. That's, like, again, to try and go back on track, but that's like the difference of the first session. As I said, it's the hardest one, and it's for different reasons for everyone. As I said, some people are petrified to get into a gym, literally petrified. I've had people come in straight away, someone that you know, who walk in and go, won't even say hello, they just go like, I've got really bad gym anxiety. I'm like, it's alright. I'm like, don't worry, like, no one else is in here now anyway, so just calm, don't worry, no one's going to be watching. You're in a private gym where everyone's got the same goals and things like that. And obviously, you know, moving from that gym to another gym that I did move to, there wasn't that private type of thing, you know, everyone, all eyes were on you. And I said, you know, the impact that had on me as a business and the impact it had on clients, you know, they didn't feel comfortable, which I totally support in that. But I want to know what type of like effect that has on you. That's one thing I want to kind of touch on. So yeah, it's great having a personal trainer who you can trust and confide in and that, but how important to you as a gym that's a nice environment?
To be honest, it's a bit of both really, because I think we spoke about this last week, but 2018 was for me like a really rubbish year for like various reasons. And one of the last things that I wanted to do, and this actually probably links back to your previous question, but also a little bit with this one as well, but going to a gym was like literally the last thing that I wanted to do, because I was like, I just really can't be bothered. You know, it's like I just don't want to get out of bed, and you know, things just weren't good at all. And you said to me, you were like, no, it's really good, you know, for your mentality, just kind of get something else to focus on, and we just won't speak about it. But it was comforting to know that obviously with you being part of the family, you knew exactly how in-depth things were at the time and how badly I felt certain things. And there was one point in the year where that really pushed me and motivated me to make changes in myself. But then at the back end of the year, it actually was something completely different. And I went to the gym for a completely different reason. That was to, you know, help me with my mentality and try and give me something else to focus on. But to link back to what your question was now, where, you know, is the atmosphere of the gym really important? Yeah, it is, because there was times when I obviously didn't want to speak to anyone. I didn't want to kind of like, you know, interact or do anything other than just go to bed. But you said to me, you know, oh no, come down, we won't speak about it. But sometimes people who either did know and wanted, you know, to kind of chat to you just about other stuff, or just being around other people that might be completely oblivious to what's going on, is a really good distraction. And it was only really then when, as things got better in 2019, that, you know, I'm kind of, even now, I'm in such a really nice, you know, I can't even really describe the difference, but I think you probably know the difference of how I feel now. But I am like really content and a lot happier, and I feel like now I've got a kind of a really good lifestyle and balance. But when there was a change of gyms and that atmosphere wasn't there, you then felt the impact, because even though you feel happier and stuff in other situations, when you go to a place where you're so used to people being really motivational or being really, you know, lively when you come in, even though they might not actually be your clients. You know, I never worked with other people that were in the gym, but they would treat me just like they treat one of their own clients. When you go to a gym that's got a completely different atmosphere, you feel it, and you lack motivation. So I think that, you know, it was only really when other things were happier and livelier in other aspects of your life, that when you go to somewhere that you expect that to kind of continue, and it didn't, I was a bit like, oh, I don't like the feeling of this. And I don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was maybe just that people, as friendly as they are when you speak to them one-to-one, in a closed environment, didn't give off that atmosphere. Or you felt like people who were training people were looking at you as if like comparing themselves to you. And I don't know, again, whether that's, I don't know why. Maybe that might just be because, you know, another female's kind of walked in, and people, you know, women are sometimes the worst for looking at other women and comparing themselves for various reasons. I don't know. I didn't know whether it was that, or I didn't know whether it was because, you know, we're related and they're seeing how you're training with me and seeing whether there was a difference in how you interact with clients versus me, even though there's no difference at all. Or it could even be, you know, as I say, my target was never to lose weight. And when people like me or have got my bills walk into a gym, without this sounding big-headed, there might be other people that look who do want to be in your position, looking, going, well, why are you in a gym? And it just makes you feel like I shouldn't be here. Or they don't know the reasons why I'm actually there. Whereas other gyms that you've been to, you've got people of various different shapes and sizes or different lifestyles and go to a gym for their own personal purpose. But you've got other gyms that go with the same mindset of you have to look like you're part of this gym. You have to act like we do in this gym, or, you know, you have to be as loud as everyone else because it might be an attention-seeking gym. I don't know. I really don't know what the difference was, but that's kind of just the vibe that I got from it. It was like, it just felt like you shouldn't be there. It's like, you know, when you go to like a new school or you join a new place and you read about people that are really welcoming to you and you instantly feel like you click straight in, but other times it feels like you're a bit of an outsider and you don't really know where to go and where your boundaries are and what you can do. That, for me, as a client, which I probably shouldn't feel because obviously I'm guided by you, I felt that about myself. I felt like just uncomfortable, like, why am I here? I don't know. It was just really strange. But then when we went to, obviously, Crew 42 then, and that atmosphere just completely changed. And the music is blaring, and obviously we're a very big 80s fan. It's what we listen to in the garden on family family events and parties. But yeah, you know, it instantly clicks with us, and as soon as you walk in, you might never have met those people before, and they're just really accommodating.
Yeah.
They know that you're there, so even though they probably think, they can probably look at the most muscliest person and go, well, okay, you shouldn't be at the gym, like, you know, why are you still here, sort of thing. They'll probably think, well, do you know what, yeah, they might have the ideal body shape, but they might be under loads of stress in work,
Yeah.
and that's why they're there to, you know, break away from that mold. So I think people at gyms need to kind of understand that the reason why people go to a gym isn't necessarily about their physicality, it's about everything as a whole, and sometimes can just be just a distraction that you need. And I think at Crew 42, that's why I feel really comfortable, because, you know, they understand
Yeah.
that you're there for a reason, and they just really like you. Nice.
I think like this time last year was a bit of a vicious circle, and it's hard for me to even like kind of say a negative about the gym that I did move to, and I don't really want to say the name of the gym, because most people know where it is anyway, but I don't want it to come across as if we're negative about that gym, because the equipment that they had and the facilities were absolutely fantastic, and to be honest with you, probably the best facilities I've been to, apart from obviously the mainstream gyms, which have all the money in the world to impact that. But for a private studio and the size of it and everything, and even the location for me, it was a 5-minute walk and everything like that. It was all perfect. But I'm the same as you. I'm quite an outgoing person, but I'll also keep myself to myself when I need to. I'm not one of them who walks into a room and it's all eyes on me. I'm not that type of person. But when people are talking to me, I'm quite confident, and I'll approach anyone and everything like that. But I'll never forget the very first session I had. And I walked up the stairs and I walked in with my clients, because I thought I'll wait for my clients outside to make sure that they know where they're going. And I walked in and there was no music on, but there was a couple of PTs in, and I was like, this is weird. And then no one said hello, and no one approached me. The owner did. The owner came over and shook my hand, but there was nothing like, I'm such and such. It was just kind of, you're right. And I was like, this is just a little bit strange. I've never had this before, but I was like, right, let's just get on with it. Like, you know me, I'm just like, right, just get on with it. I'll train anywhere. I'll train anyone. I'll train anyone anywhere. In the shed, I'll train someone. Do you know what I mean? So I carried on as normal, and then as time went on, I thought, right, no one lets on when you walk in, and no one says bye when they're going. I was like, it's just a bit, for me, I just felt a little bit weird. And I moved there because at the time, with another PT, obviously I was very close to him. And we before this all happened, we were in discussions to obviously get our own and whatever else, and that all went pear-shaped. But I kind of moved with him, and he kind of moved with me, type of thing. And that's more his environment, you know, the type of personality he's got. He's a boss lad and that. But that's more his kind of environment, that type of place, whereas it's not mine. And I'll always remember saying, right, well, I can train anywhere, I can train anyone anywhere, it doesn't bother me. And at this time, because I'd been in places that I didn't mind, or like there was a nice atmosphere, I thought, like, I didn't even put into consideration the family that I trained, the person who had gym anxiety, yourself, do you know what I mean? I didn't think of them people. I just kind of thought, right, I can make do with it. If people don't want to talk to me, I'm not really bothered. I'll come in, I'll do my job, and I'll go home. I'm not here to make friends. And I always remember it got to the point where certain people left, and I was like, right, this is affecting my business, obviously my income. I was like, but why? And then I thought, right, no, I'm not 100% happy here either. And obviously it took something drastic for me to grow up here and decide to move on again. But I always thought, like, it was a massive wake-up call for me, because we moved from, for me, the best place I've ever worked ever. Not that I don't even think anything will come, unless I get my own, I don't think anything's going to come close to it. And it's probably a biased view, but I just felt so at home there. The location was spot on. The people who worked there, the members, there was never ever a single issue in that place. I never argued with anyone. I never fell out. I never got the impression someone was snarling yourself or one of my clients, you know what I mean? And all the PTs communicated with each other.
You know what, I was actually just going to say then that, you know, the reason why I probably felt a bit odd in the place that we were just talking about was because I picked up on a vibe that felt like it was aimed at us.
Yeah.
Which is really weird because normally, you know, as a PC and you're working in a place with other PCs, you imagine that there is competition because people are seeing how you do certain stuff right in front of them. So they're probably picking up different tips, or they're probably looking over and thinking, okay, what are they doing? How did they do it? And you're probably getting loads of sort of, I don't know, maybe just like other information, you know, from them observing, you know, what you do. But you should feel that. You should feel that someone's looking over, and someone, even though they're not kind of overly friendly in a way, and they're not like, you know, greeting you when you come in, but you're picking up that they're really paying attention to you when you're there. That should be something that you pick up on. And I thought, this isn't something that a client should, because why should a client feel like they're doing something wrong when we're not? And it was just really weird. And it was only just when you mentioned that I thought, that probably just hit the nail on the head, really.
Since I've started being a PT, I think I was what age? I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was 20 years of age when I started being a PT. And I weighed about 7 stone. Like literally, I weighed about 7 stone. I don't think I wasn't any more than 7.5 stone when I started, and I was 20 years of age, and I started in a gym that really couldn't fail. It was a massive gym. It was obviously Ben Dunn, you know, membership. It was chocker every night. There was I think there was like 3,500 members when I left, and that was from the start. So within 2 years, you know, there's 3,500 members just in our place, in the Edge Lane one, that signed up. And from the first day, obviously I'm small in height as well, like I'm only 5'7", and I weigh 7 stone. I don't look like a PT, or I didn't have that PT look that is like kind of stereotypical really, but I didn't have that look, and I knew I never had that look. And all eyes were on me, and as I said, you know me, I'm kind of like it doesn't bother me, stuff like that. Like, you can stare at me all you want, I'll crack on with what I need to do and whatever else. But that's kind of always been ever since then, and whether it's a complex or not, I don't know, but that's always been my impression. And I'm about 4 stone heavier now, but I still compare myself to other people. And like the lad that I was talking about in Gym Monkeys, and we moved to Crewe, I'll say his name, he'd like Joe. He's not a massive fella either, but he has that look, that PT look. Do you know what I mean? He suits his role, if that makes sense. And I've always thought to myself, and even still to this day, and it doesn't bother me. I'll carry on doing what I'm doing, and I enjoy it, and I feel I'm good at it without sounding big-headed. But I've never had that look, and everywhere that I've moved to, whether it was a mainstream gym, a studio, you know, a fitness facility, whatever it is, I've always had that complex that people are looking at me thinking, God, he doesn't look like, who's this? Like, Alan Carr lookalike coming in trying to train people, do you know what I mean? Like, who is he? Like, do you know what I mean? I've always had that, like, thought process, do you know what I mean? But as I said, I've always cracked on, and I remember going to this gym and I was thinking, it's the same look that I'm always going to get. Like, it doesn't bother me, and that's what I mean. I kind of, for the 2 or 3 months that I worked, it was like, I'm not really, like, it doesn't bother me, like, stare at me, think I'm not doing this right, or wonder why I'm doing this, or whatever, like, as much as you want. That's what I mean. My thought process was, it's me that they're looking at. It's me, like, do you know what I mean? And I never thought, no, they're looking at these, they're looking at her, they're looking at him. I never had that kind of, that thought process until it was too late. As I said, it was a great wake-up call, because fast forward 9 months, I'm a lot happier than I was 9 months back. But it's just interesting how a gym environment massively helps. And as I said, I know in my idea in my head, I know exactly how I want my gym to be if I ever own one. And I reckon it's exactly the same way you'd want it to be, and I reckon it's exactly the same way Tom would want it to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's Crew 42 / Gym Monkeys. It's a loud atmosphere. It's friendly people. It's not girls who are full of themselves, or lads who are wearing tight tops to show off their arms or chest or whatever. It's like, that's not the look I'd want. I want a friendly place. I want people to come in and enjoy it. They don't have to come away feeling absolutely knackered from a workout, because sometimes that's not important. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, as you said, you could have, like 2 years ago, one thing I said to you was, when you were saying that you don't want to come to the gym, was do it. I was like, don't, like, I know you don't want to, but that hour, it takes your mind off whatever's going on. And one thing I said to you was, like, and you used to start the conversation of these topics, and I'd go, what are you telling me for? Like, and I remember coming home and I was saying, I don't want it to sound like I don't care, but like, I know she's not here for that. Do you know what I mean? And I used to say, right, what are you telling me? You're not here to talk about it. You're here to do this, and you're here to take your mind off it. And that was the reason I wanted you to carry it on. Not for I was working in the school. It wasn't for my income or my business. It was for you to just get out for an hour and take your mind off it. And I knew I could do it.
Sometimes it was good on the punch bag if that person ever got mentioned, because that I always
but that's why
it was there.
But we done it. That's when we started doing the boxing a lot more, because it's a way to get rid of your anger. It's a way to think of something. Like, if you're lifting a weight, your mind, if it's too light or you're just starting off, your mind's thinking about something else at that point. Whereas on boxing, your mind's thinking about just hitting that bag and thinking about who it could be. And I do it, do you know what I mean? But it was a good way to offload, and I think that's why, as you said, the gym sometimes isn't to go there and lift the heaviest weight. The gym isn't there sometimes to look at yourself in the mirror and think, wow, look at me. It's there to take your mind away for an hour. It's there to get rid of whatever's going on at home, in your home life, or whatever's going on at work. I said, I'm enjoying these home workouts because I'm not thinking about me income for an hour, or I'm not thinking about how I'm missing the gym for an hour because I'm training people without seeing them. But I'm not thinking about anything else other than performing, let's say, for half an hour to people. And I think that's the main thing with the gym, is it's not just about going there to look the part. That's why I love where we are now, because there is absolutely nobody like that. Like, absolutely nobody. The owners aren't like that. Where you kind of say they can be like that. It's their gym, they can do whatever they want, but they're far from that. None of the members, you come in and go, geez, like, do you know what I mean? There's never been any issue. There's maybe the odd person that you might look at and go, God, they looking at, but you speak to them and they're perfect. Like, it's weird. It's whereas the impression we got in certain other gyms has been totally different. And I think, as I said, the gym environment, certainly the last 9 months or so, has made me really realise how important it is for clients, not just for me. As I said, I've always put myself first, because obviously it's my income and I want to be happy. But if you aren't happy, or the family weren't happy, or the person who had gym anxiety weren't happy, and they leave, that impacts on me. Do you know what I mean? So I've kind of got to get that 50-50 balance now, and it's just been, I think it's been exciting, and it's been a wake-up call for me the last 9 months to see all stuff like that. We'll wrap it up. As I said, we're gonna, we'll see, hopefully the sound and everything's okay for this one, and we'll work around it and that. But just before we finish, obviously I always say to people, is there anything that you want to touch on that we haven't already?
I think we've kind of touched on a lot of stuff, but I think obviously as time goes on, there will be changes at the gym. And we did speak about one thing the other week where, is it right or is it not right to wear a face mask at the gym? Is it, right that gyms are open now? Or, if it's classed as an outside gym because it's got like a shutter, is that right? Is it not? And I don't think anyone really knows the right answer. Obviously the outside gym part of Crew 42 has been authorised, so that's fine. So people are obviously able to go in. But I think for the actual bulk of the gym, the proper size of it, there's still obviously like discussions about when that's going to open and stuff. But I think one of the things that would be quite interesting just to see is obviously how it all pans out at the end. How many people do go to the gym wearing a face mask, because in my head that's the right thing to do, because that's something I would do if they feel safer wearing one. Because the whole reason why personal protective equipment is called personal protective equipment, and the whole point why a personal trainer is called personal trainer, is because it's all about you and how you feel motivated, or what your achievements want to be. So I think that if people are kind of saying, no, the reason is that you definitely can't wear one, I don't necessarily see that that's true, because obviously the word personal comes into both your title and their title. So it's all about how that person feels safer.
The video with Tom where he was wearing a face mask, it is going to raise a few eyebrows. I knew it was when we were doing it, but that was his, that was his preference. I didn't walk in the gym and say, Tom, can't train unless you've got a face mask on, mate. He walked over, put a face mask on, and was like, you know what, I'm gonna put this on. He was like, one, because for you it might help you because you're training someone and they're not wearing a face mask. He was like, but two, it's the first time coming back. He was like, so I'll wear it. And to be fair, not doing the exercises, he wasn't wearing it. So the videos that I was filming, he was wearing it for. But then when we weren't, he was kind of taking it off. And then obviously I got that message the other day, and I was like, I seen obviously someone comment on it, or comment about someone wearing a face mask, and me, straight away I jumped on it. I was like, right, that's their preference.
Yeah.
And one of their arguments was, well, I'm not going to advise my clients to. I was like, well, one, I didn't advise anyone to wear one. Two, it's not really your say to advise someone, certainly with what's going on. Maybe on a normal day, or at a normal time of the year.
Yeah.
Then, if Tom just randomly walked in last year with a face mask on, I'd be like, you're wearing that for? Do you know what I mean? But certainly with what's going on, I totally understand if people want to wear a face mask. That's entirely up to them. That's not up to me. But then thirdly, to say, it's dangerous and that. Well, you're training. You're the trainer. You should know what's dangerous and what's not dangerous.
Because at first I was a bit like, oh, is the gym open? But the gym, as in the gym, isn't open. It's that kind of studio sort of where the shutter is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of classed as like an outdoor gym, because there is like a circulation of movements within the place. There's windows open, and for that one there is like a shutter open.
Yeah.
So it is a safer version of the gym, but the actual gym itself, which is in a closed space with no circulation at all, probably isn't. So even then, the rules are fine.
Yeah.
No one's kind of bent the rules or anything like that. It has been authorised to do it. But yeah, no, I agree with you, in the sense that, like, no one really knows. The government, I don't even think, really knows. So I'm just kind of going off instincts with me and going off what I feel safe doing.
Yeah.
If I'm walking in a park and there's loads of people, I might put a mask on. If there's only a few people, where if we're crossing paths and I can go and still keep 2 meters away from them, then I wouldn't wear one. So again, it is all down to personal
exactly, and that's what I mean. Like,
it'll be interesting to see other people's opinions.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. My personal preference of this was, well, I feel okay. If my client wants to come in, that's fine. You've decided not to, and I was like, yeah, it's your decision. Like, just because I'm in there doesn't mean, right, you've got to come in. It's your preference. You might not want to come in till January, because there might be, he might open them up, but there still might be 100 odd deaths a day. That doesn't mean, like that's entirely up to you. As I said, I can't force anyone just because I'm going back to work. I might go back in and there might have been nobody who wants to train with me because they feel the same. Luckily, a couple of people have come back and that. But that's personal preference. As I said, for me, I'm like, well, yeah, I feel it's okay. I'm going to go back in. I'm cleaning the equipment before and after use every single time, regardless of who's coming in, because we've been advised to. But as you said, you at the moment feel, no, I don't feel ready, and when I am, I will. But guarantee that personal trainer who sent the message, who said they shouldn't be open yet, it's not advisable. If he said it was okay on Monday, she'd be back in.
Yeah.
Guarantee it, because it's their income. But why are you waiting for someone? It should be your personal preference. My personal preference is, I wouldn't advise. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
What we'll do, we'll wrap this one up. You've got your PT session in literally, well,
I'm all suited and
pretty much now. So listen, thanks for coming on. So it's been interesting for me. We've spoke about things that we don't usually speak about, so it'll be interesting one to see how this goes.
Yeah, thank you.
I will see you in about 30 seconds.
Yes.
See you in a bit.